Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let us go for the next usage of the general journal entry, and that is recording transaction for the payroll services. Let us say, for example, as I said before, we cannot manage the payroll with the QuickBook. And of course, let us say, for example, we have managed, for example, several other softwares or even the manual system. So we have calculated how much expenses we should consider for the payroll. And let us say the total payroll is amount of 50,000 that we have to adjust or we have to record in the QuickBook. For this purpose, directly go in the company, come to this one, general journal entry, and debit and credit the accounts, which account is debited, which account is credited. So if you pay for the payroll expenses, definitely payroll is the expenses account, so that become debit, right? So under expenses, go under expense, select the payroll account, right? So even before selecting the payroll, first of all, check that how much is the balance of payroll account. Come under the expenses, see the payroll account, how much is the payroll expenses. Find out payroll here. How much balance is there? 75,000 balance is there, right? Now let us go for debiting this account. As expenses incurred, that expenses as belong to the payroll, so the payroll account should be debited. Amount is how much? For example, let us say amount is 25,000. And from which bank we paid? We paid it, for example, from, we can say from AIB Bank. So save and close this one, so no need for assigning the class. If you go once again back for the chart of account, of course, you can find that payroll with the how much amount? Let's just check it. How much is the amount of this one? Payroll, right? Payroll. This is payroll. Previously was 25, now it is increased how much? 20. So if expenses incurred for the payroll, so we can calculate somewhere else, but you can enter into the QuickBook through general journal entry, right? Let us check the next one. Recording year-end transaction. Year-end transaction means, for example, at the end of the year, if some account become debit, some account become credit, right? For example, let us say, for example, there is expenses. There is expenses, for example, by the name of rent expenses. Total expenses was 10,000, but company paid only 8,000. So if company paid only 8,000, in this case, how we can manage it? So you know that in this case, we have three accounts. One account for cash account, one account for rent account, one account for outstanding rent, right? We have to create it. So let us go with the company and click on the preference. Once again, I'm repeating the example. Rent was 10,000 for the building, but we paid only 8,000 up to the end of the year. How much is outstanding? 2,000 is outstanding. So how we can record in the QuickBook? So let us do that one. First of all, you have to debit your rent account. First of all, debit your rent account. How much is the rent? So rent account. How much was the total rent? For example, the total rent was amount of 10,000. Out of this 10,000, how much you paid? Let us say I paid through PT cash. I paid only 8,000. How much paid? I paid only 8,000. How much is remaining? Definitely 2,000 is remaining. This 2,000 which is remaining should be considered as outstanding rent. Should be considered as what? Outstanding rent. And outstanding rent should be recorded or should be created. For this one, we have to create an account. If the account is already not available, so you have to create an account. And that account should be considered as what? As other current liabilities, right? So create this one. Name this account as outstanding rent or rent outstanding. It is called rent outstanding. Outstanding, right? Rent outstanding. Save and close this one. Now you can adjust this one. So if there is any adjustment regarding outstanding expenses, outstanding incomes, prepaid expenses, and so on, all of them can be adjusted with the QuickBooks. You can do it. No need for assigning the class. Now it is adjusted. If you go for the report on financial, on the, we can say on the balance sheet, right? You can find out the outstanding rent on the liability side, right? So liability, current liabilities, under current liabilities, one of the liability is basically this one, outstanding rent. How much is outstanding rent? It is amount of 2,000. So 2,000 should be considered. And this is of course show that it is made through journal entry, right? So this was the purpose of the second part, and that is year-end transaction.